Introducing people to oysters is a full-time job. I come through, I got my food on ice, and we provide our service, and we scoot, and you've given people a good time. I think I have the most exclusive because I have the toppings. Nobody does the toppings. Even a place that does do oysters, sometimes you can come through and still take it up a notch and be like, you know, here's something you haven't had before. Hey, I'm Moody, and Mother Shuckers is my business. In New York, oysters are common. I've been aware of oysters my whole life. In terms of my family, that's not something that they would introduce me to, but it's not something that they would shy away from either. Me being a black person, a lot of black people that I know don't eat oysters, have never tried an oyster before. It has not been that common inside of our cuisine based off of the fact that it has been pushed as such a Yacht-Club society thing. First time I had it was in Florida. No, I didn't like it. It was an oyster I shucked for a happy hour. Didn't like oysters. I thought that oysters were gross. It wasn't until I came to New York. I worked at this place called Maison Premier, and they had like 30 different oysters on tap at all times. And I was like, oh wow, oysters are... When it comes to the kitchen, a lot of the time, your main goal is to work up to sous chef or executive chef so that you can work like 60 to 80 hours a week, you know, for somebody else. And when I realized that being good at oysters would separate me from the rest of the pack in terms of my hours alone, that was the first thing that really did it for me, you know? It was like, I'm specialized inside of what it is my skill set. So I can be valuable for 2 to 4 hours out of a daytime, and that is your maximum value in hiring me or having me be on board. In terms of small business, I believe in real estate. So you create your real estate regardless of if you have physical real estate or not. Having a physical real estate though, that really does separate you, even if it's a box or a table that's designed with your thing on it, you can provide yourself as an entity. So for me, the cart was a necessary thing because it enables me to physically be inside of any space. What we basically do is we just show up at different restaurants and supermarkets and different venues during different times during the course of the week and the month. So you just check the gram. It really is based off of what would be advantageous for these businesses to have a tasty and healthy lunch item on the menu that wouldn't necessarily be able to be there as an option otherwise without them hiring on an entire team of shuckers or setting up an entire raw bar. It just wouldn't exist otherwise. So that's the beauty of having a cart. You can pull the cart out, you show up at a location, you get an on-site raw bar. I think I have the most exclusive because I have the toppings. Nobody does the toppings. So we got the candy apple, we got the sushi, we got the classic, we got the mushroom, we got the citrus salsa, we got the cold Rockefeller. Nobody's ever had these options before. So even just to elevate, even a place that does do oysters, sometimes we can come through and still take it up a notch. I want carts, mad carts. Introducing people to the concept of how delicious oysters are, first off, but also the fact that you can utilize an oyster shell to create more oysters, and that oysters themselves create the nursery and create basically the backbone of the ocean, is to teach people how important that they are to all other food sources. how much that they contribute to society, contribute to the planet by filtering water. That for me is more important than getting people to actually eat oysters. The reasoning why we don't have any oyster beds, why we don't have any nurseries, why we don't have any fish for consumption period, is because they don't have anywhere to live. And the oyster shell is what creates that nursery, that creates the oyster bed, that creates, for all intents and purposes, our coral reef, our nursery, our estuary, where our marine life would be thriving and growing and being successful. Mother Shuckers Cares is my nonprofit, and the intention is to teach kids from inner city areas about how their relationship does exist to maritime, how their relationship does exist to self-employment and to entrepreneurship, and how they can visualize themselves inside of both of these places as it not being a foreign concept. Introducing these kids, especially black kids who feel like, oh, that's such a foreign idea, it's so many millions of miles away from me, and it's not, it's right here, it's right next to you.